I'm Oscar Camara. I'm full professor on biomedical engineering at Universitat Pompeu Fabra. Well, after studying telecommunication engineering in Barcelona, I went to Paris for a master and I started to work on medical image processing, which I loved, and as a way to explore the human body and better understand its physiology. And then I moved to London as a postdoc and I started to work on computational modeling in Alzheimer's disease. And I like it a lot, the fact of using mathematics to mimic the physics of different organs and systems. And from then on, I've enjoyed working closely with clinicians to better understand physiology and use advanced technologies for improving clinical decisions. And while during the last years, probably the most rewarding moments are really related to the training of young people and the graduate, master, PhD students, and helping them to becoming researchers in our field. Well, I'm not a very well-focused researcher. In my research group, Phisens, that we are part of the Barcelona MedTech unit at Pompeu Fabra, we combine advanced computational techniques such as data science and silico modeling and visual analytics in different clinical applications, and always in collaboration with clinicians. And again, with the main goal to better understand the behavior of certain organs and models and to improve therapies. For instance, one of the largest projects we work these days is to determine the risk of a patient with atrial fibrillation to develop a thrombus with computational models and to tell the clinician which is the optimal device to implant to avoid potential problems after the intervention. Or another really nice project that we are working on is to develop biomechanical models to simulate the development of the brain in babies from fetal life till they are born and identify abnormal patterns. Well, it's kind of mind-blowing, right? That we can more or less replicate the behavior of certain organs and systems with mathematical equations, right? I mean, in silico modeling, it's really the ultimate goal for understanding the mechanisms in our body, in normal evolution and with pathologies, and to test different hypotheses to explain what we don't know yet. In fact, it's really intrinsically linked to the scientific method. And also it allows to perform a lot of experiments in silico that will be very difficult to set up in the lab. Well, it is already. In particular, in combination with data science, it helps a lot to interpret the big amounts of data that we have these days, population-based studies and individual basis. And also, it is already necessary to have in silico modeling and simulations for a lot of medical devices as part of the regulatory process. You need to present rigorous in silico models with proper verification and validation steps. And also, during the next years, we're going to see how in silico trials becomes a really much needed tool to optimize the standard way of performing clinical trials. Well, there are quite a lot. But maybe first it's just to properly translate the research that is performed in academic and clinical centers onto products that have added value in the healthcare chain. But for this, something quite important is to advance on the generalization and replicability of the existing computational tools that they need really to perform in the same way with data from different hospitals, different quality, etc. And again, in order to do this, what is important is to have multicentric studies with shared data, which is a huge issue these days due to GDPR laws, but maybe using federated approaches. And it requires really multi-institutional collaborative efforts involving industry, academia, and clinical partners.